Hey, it's Marina, travel experta. Today, we're going to be talking about typical Guatemalan drinks. Are you guys ready for an adventure? Let's begin. Guatemala has a variety of amazingly delicious types of drinks from non-alcoholic fresh juices to different alcoholic beverages. So I'm going to surprise you with some of the stuff you're going to find out from Guatemala. First and foremost, let's talk about the coffee. Guatemala is world renowned for some of the best coffee in the world. And it depends because of the volcanic soil, their coffee is literally considered to be some of the top five in the world. So you are when you come to Guatemala, you are able to actually enjoy it in all the different coffee shops that you can find all over Guatemala. So make sure you try the Guatemalan coffee. Even if you're not a coffee lover, give it a shot. You'll really enjoy it. Then we have atol de elote. Basically, it is this thick, warm drink made out of corn, and you could find it in restaurants, but it's really interesting when you could go and taste it in the street foods, because that's where they really serve it, and somehow they manage to keep it really warm and pretty much hot right on the streets, and it's really tasty. I can't even explain the flavor of it, but obviously it has a lot of corn peel to it, but also it's thick, so it's almost like a meal sometimes. It's like a really thick soup like flavor. Atol de elote. Highly recommend giving it a shot. Now, some of the most popular drinks is limonadas and naranjadas. So what is a limonada? Pretty much you can understand it is like a lemonade. And it's usually when you say limonada, it comes in two varieties. Limonada with water or with soda. But the actual base of it is fresh squeezed lemonade, obviously with a little bit of sugar. So when you ask for limonada, they will always ask, do you want water with it or do you want soda with it? And the other really popular drink here is naranjada. Naranjada is the orange version of a limonada. So the base is freshly squeezed orange juice, and then you add water and sugar or soda and sugar to it. And you get this in any possible restaurant, store, outside, wherever. The other really, really popular drink here is Rosa de Jamaica, which is hibiscus tea, but it's cold. And some people use it with cinnamon, some people with just sugar, but it is also found absolutely everywhere. It is an incredibly popular drink. And drinks here, like those types, are refrescos, right? They're just like refreshing drinks. And the other thing that people really love to have here are licuados. Licuado is literally a smoothie. So licuado, and they usually give it with totally fresh fruit. And again, with licuado, you could do either with just water and a different kind of fresh fruit. You decide which fresh fruit: mango, guayabana, strawberries, bananas, or you could do a mixed version of that. You could either have it with water or milk. Milk is also a very popular version. And to be honest with you, the majority of people actually have it with milk because it gives you a little bit more uh like meatiness to it or juice to it, and you could definitely get the vegan version of it as well. I personally prefer mine to be just with water. So these are the most popular refreshing types of drinks. Interestingly enough, for Christmas, they do have something like the United States has eggnog. They have this ponche. It's called ponche de navideño ponche. It's a Christmas punch. And it usually does have a little bit of alcohol, but it is like these cooked fruits and with full barred cinnamon in sticks in it, and it's really flavorful. You can pretty much only find it during Christmas season. Otherwise, you cannot get your hands on it. So if you are traveling here during December time, definitely get yourself a ponche navideño. It's really tasty, and a lot of times it will give you a nice little boop kick because of the alcohol, but you could get the kids version as well. So here is something really interesting. Guatemala has the one number one and number two most famous, most popular, and best quality rum. Zacapa rum is world renowned for their rum. And if you go for the really, really good stuff, it costs you up to $200 per bottle, if not more. And you could actually go to the different, they have these luxury like rum bars, restaurants, and I have an entire podcast talking about the Zacapa rum bars. I definitely really recommend you guys go and check that out. But it is absolutely known for their rum, which is really interesting. The Zacapa rum. And then they have more localized versions, obviously, of different alcohols. And one interesting one is called Quetzalteca. It is like 80 or 90% alcohol, burn you up. It is actually comes from the region of Quetzaltenango. And that's why it's called Quetzalteca as well. And it's interesting. Because it's such a strong flavor, they have them in different flavors, like with different fruits and berries to kind of make the flavor of it not as powerful and burn your mouth. And as with every country in the world, Guatemala has its own beer. Gallo is probably the most popular beer. It's a very light beer. It's good. They do have a lot more today, but this is probably like their most popular one as well. And you can find a Gallo. It's kind of like a Budweiser in the United States. You can find it everywhere. But, there are a lot of artisanal beers now as well, because obviously the handcrafted beer movement is everywhere. But this is something that's been around since probably the 1800s. It's one of the oldest breweries of Guatemala. So these are like the most popular drinks, and you can never forget the hot cocoa. Mayan chocolate is world renowned. And when you come to Guatemala, when you enter any Guatemalan household, you will usually find two things on their stove: beans, refried beans constantly being cooked and warmed up, and hot chocolate. It is almost a staple. So make sure that you try the hot chocolate wherever you are in Guatemala. It is usually made from the Guatemalan chocolate. And it will definitely, even if you're not a chocolate lover, it's a bit of a different flavor than the normal chocolate, and definitely different than the hot chocolate that you are used to. So it's a really flavorful experience for you guys. So these are just some of the most popular drinks. Obviously, there's a lot more to go over, but these are the ones I really recommend to try when you are in Guatemala. And if you want more information about different Guatemalan drinks or foods, please go to my website, travelexperta.com, travelexpert with an A.com. And if you have any questions, let me know. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave me a review and make sure to share it with your friends. And remember to make every day an adventure.